Uh, hey Alec, I just have a question about the water cycle. Just how does it work in general? You know what I'm saying? Just confused about that. Well, Alec number two, I'd be delighted to fill you in on some facts about the water cycle. So basically, it has to do with water, right? And it starts off in the oceans, and so the water at the top of the oceans, or at sea level, it's exposed to the air, which is warmer than the water. So therefore, the water gets warmer and evaporates or turns into vapor and rises as heat rises into the clouds. In the clouds, the air is a lot cooler there, so it condenses and becomes the clouds. And basically, after it becomes the clouds, sometimes the clouds get too heavy, and that's when the water falls back down to earth. And this is called condensation. And this can be in the form of rain, sleet, hail, snow, etc. And it goes back down to the ground. So there's two types of scenarios when the water falls back down to the ground. One, it soaks into the ground when there's like a mild rain, and the water soaked is called groundwater, and the process is called infiltration. The second scenario is if there's really heavy rain and the water doesn't have time to soak, so it just runs downwind until its kinetic energy runs out, and this is called it's called runoff. It's called runoff. The process is called runoff. So that's pretty much the water cycle. If you have any other questions, just let me know. All right, Alec number two. What? Well, to be honest, there, Alec, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Are you kidding? All right, I guess I'll just have to explain it in layman's terms, I guess. All right, let's do this. Oh yes, Alec, that would be very fantastic. That would be very helpful for my mental picture. Yes. All right, Alec number two. I'll show you right now. All right, Alec number two. So pretend that this cup of water, is the oceans. All right, and pretend that this piece of paper is the air. So first, I'm going to talk about the process of evaporation. So basically, when the air hits the water, I'm going to try to get it damp here. All right, just go with it. Just go with it. So the air hits the water, and I don't know if you can see, but it's damp. The air is damp, and this is when the water has turned into water vapor. And so the process of evaporation is when the air hits that water, becomes damp into water vapor, and then that water vapor rises, right? And then when it's in the air, when it's high enough in the air, the temperature of the air gradually drops as the water gets further and further away from the Earth's ground layer. And so basically what it does as a mental model is the molecules become closer together due to the colder temperature, and it starts to condense. Okay, so and basically at a certain point, this would get too heavy of water, right? And so if I squeeze this, this doesn't have enough water on it for it to drip down. But if it did, and I kept squeezing it, water would drip from here back into the ocean and in the land all around. And so that is the precipitation part of it. So after the water has cooled and into condensation, and it's condensed into the cloud in this little small ball, and then it's rained down on the earth, that's precipitation. Okay? So, basically, that precipitation can be water, like I showed, like here, or it can be sleet, it can be snow, like I said before, it can be hail, it can be etc. and whatnot, based off the conditions of the atmosphere and a bunch of other variables. All right, so that's the first part of it. I'm going to show you the second part in a second. I do find that quite helpful, Alec. But I still I don't get the full picture. If you could just show me the second part of what you're about to show me, that would be fantastic, phenomenal. I do understand what you're talking about so far. I believe that if you continue to expand, then my mental model would be 100% perfect, as you might say. So please continue. Yeah, Alec number 2. That's my entire goal. So yeah, follow me. I'll show you the second model. For Pete's sake! All right, let's go. All right, Alec number 2. We're just gonna go ahead and go outside just to show you the other part of this experiment, or this sort of mental model. So, it's really cloudy out right now, but basically, let's show you on this patch of dirt right here. So, right now we're in the precipitation phase of the water cycle, and I'm going to show you the different scenarios of precipitation. So pretend that this water is precipitation in any form. It can be rain, sleet, hail, snow, whatever, and it depends on the time of year and whatever. So the first model is what happens when there's a really light rain and the water, it doesn't run off of the soil, but it sits and it soaks. So pretend, all right, so just light rain just soaking in the soil. So yeah, so it's moving a little bit, but for the most part, it's staying where it is, and it's accumulating into the soil. It's soaking into the soil, and so this process, as the water enters the ground, it becomes groundwater, and this process is called infiltration. As you can see, the water's almost gone, and it's almost entirely into the soil at this point. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the mental model of when it rains or snows or sleets or hails, when it does any of those things really violently and intensely. So this is what happens, right? The water doesn't really have time to soak into the ground. And so basically from there, it flows into whatever direction leads down until its kinetic energy wears off. And this process is called runoff. And that is the other scenario during precipitation. So yeah, that's basically the water cycle. And I told you, and I showed you a model. So Alec number 2, I hope you're satisfied. Oh gee willikers, yes, that was the best. Oh my goodness, 15 rounds of applause. Oh my goodness, that was the best model I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh my goodness, Al. Whoa, you good? Alec number 2.